Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Unpopular Opinions with me, Randy Prizzle. How you guys all doing out there? Everything good, shway, crispy, irie? But let's get on to this episode of Unpopular Opinions for today. If career growth matters, 100% remote is a trap. Listen, I think, doing remote work is not a bad thing. You know what I mean? Like, if you're obviously someone who wants to do what you need to do, and you need to do it the way you need to do it, I don't think doing remote work is bad for you. I think obviously you'll need to do face-to-face stuff like that, but you can also call someone and do group meetings through Zoom calls and all of that. So I don't think it's a problem, you know what I mean? But in terms of face-to-face contact and everything, if that company particularly wants you to be more present face-to-face, be there at meetings and all of those things so they know what you are in person, listen, they should see obviously what you do clear as day through the computer. But sometimes it's about face-to-face interactions. But for me, it's here nor there. I don't think it matters. So let's move on to the next one. We need to make it okay to correct each other's spelling and grammar again. Listen, probably back in the days, I was someone who, when someone said something that said this and that, I wouldn't bother. Because I think some people can find it a bit insulting. Now you're trying to insult their intelligence when you're trying to correct them if they say something wrong. So you tell them, well, you shouldn't use that one. And you probably said A too much times. They'll tell you, oh, so you trying to just tell me how to spell this and that? It's the smarty pants. So sometimes it's best just not to get involved with that. Let them make their own mistakes. Let them correct their own thing in due time. Someone else will tell them. Or they could check whatever app it is on their phone that will tell them, hey, that spelling is wrong. Maybe you should go with this one. That's the correct one. But I just stay completely out of it now. Next one. Partners checking each other's mobile is completely messed up. Now, I think if there's a reason to check that person's phone, then check it. I think if that person has given you their word and they told you, hey, this is what it is, like if you're with a partner, that partner has told you, I'm all for you, like the Janet Jackson song, it's all for you, you say you want it, and they ain't really all for you, then sometimes it's best to do some deep investigation. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you don't even need to check the phone. You probably just need to check the Twitter. You probably just need to check the Instagram. You probably might just need to check anything else. But I do think that's going too far. Sometimes if that person has given you their word, then sometimes you may want to take their word. Unless you really suspect them of doing some low down, dirty business where they ain't giving you straight answers, they can't look you in the eye anymore, or they're just not present whenever they say their work schedule is over and you don't see them much anymore. They're just out saying, I'm going out with the boys or I'm going out with the girls, and they're just gone. They just come back early hours in the morning, shirt's a mess, or whatever they're wearing is a mess, and then you've got all these answers and questions that they're not really answering. So sometimes it's best to find out for yourself. So it's one or the other with that one. Next one. I don't believe in naming your child in honor of someone else. I think naming your child in honor can be a respectful thing. Like, obviously there's someone that's named after me. Yeah, I mean, my cousin's children, one of them is named my name. You know what I mean? Which is a little bit like, I'm actually named, my middle name is named after my grandfather. So it's one of those things sometimes. I think in our culture, and probably a lot of people's culture, it's looked as an honourable thing. So I don't see it as a bad thing. But then if someone has taken your name when you probably want to name your children that, or you probably want to name someone else that's very, very close to you that, and they've taken that, then it's a bit qualms in it. It's a bit of problems. I mean, why are you naming your child that when I want to name my child or someone I'm very close to that? Do you know what I mean? So it's one of them ones, but I'm not here nor there for that. You know what I mean? I think it depends on the situation. So next one, we'll come to the last one. Using unsalted butter in baking is pointless unless you're weighing your salt. I think using unsalted butter, it's obviously better for the flavour. Now, obviously, you don't want your cakes to taste salty. So that's why you don't use salted butter in baking. It's obvious. It's clear and obvious. If you're using salted butter in baking, you're probably making salted pretzel cookies or salted caramel cookies. Do you know what I mean? That makes a big difference, obviously, to the taste, because you can taste it. It will come through. So that's the reason why a lot of people don't use salted butter when they're baking items, because they don't want it to taste salty. They want it to taste sweet. Do you know what I mean? They're not trying to do the cinema popcorn stuff where it's salty and sweet. You want it to just be sweet, and that's it. So that's why they don't use a lot of salted butter or salted butter in their baking, because it makes no sense at all. So that's just it. But that's it for this episode of Unpopular Opinions. What are you guys' thoughts on the opinions? You put your comments below on that one, or keep them to yourself. That, we've come to the end of this episode. Big yourselves up, first time watchers, season watchers. You know what I usually do, and when I finish, I'll give my opinions and I'll react later on. Let's go.